Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to more college Call of Duty action in Week 6, Tuesday night. My name's Cam Burt, joined by the lovely Seymour for another night of classic Call of Duty action. Some more great matchups, but Seymour, what's happening with my man?
Always flattering with you alongside me, man. We got a hot game to start us off. Purdue Gold and St. Clair Saints. And honestly, I'm excited. I haven't seen my home team play, being from St. Clair and all. So it's my first chance to see what they have in Cold War, what they have to offer, and what they can bring. And a tough matchup to be going up against Purdue Gold is going to be exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a long trek. And alongside that, I hope you like planes and tanks because we got a whole lot of that ahead of us. You can see above our heads, it is going to be checkmate for the first two maps, hardpoint and search. Then we're going to head to Garrison for control and hardpoint if it does go to that fourth hardpoint. And if we make it all the way through, go to that map 5, we're going to be blessed with a raid, search, and destroy, which I would not be kind of sad to see. I would love to see that game 5.
Plenty of machinery, whether it be aviation in the air with planes or on the ground with the tanks. And yep, we'll have Purdue Gold and St. Clair here over on Alpha at the same time. LVC Esports and Concord Maroon will be going at it. And you mentioned it there, Seymour. We have our very own Saint in our presence here,
Oh,
the St. Clair guy. And yeah, I mean, so we try to stay neutral here, but I totally can understand if there might be a little more of a leniency. But I mean, we'll start to break this one down. And we mentioned it's going to be a good matchup on the line. Both of these teams already in split 2, so this is going to be a big one for the seedings. And then I think as well, you were kind of mentioning it's really a big one for St. Clair in a lot of ways, right?
I have to say, this is going to be a big telling game for St. Clair Saints. It's a team that always hovers in like the top of the standings for like around like the start of the year. But when you're gonna get into that second half and we're heading into that second split, you're gonna start facing those tougher teams. Purdue Gold being one of those teams. You just lost to Illini Blue last week, and it was a tough matchup to go against. Illini always a strong team. Before that, you took down Purdue Black, the sister team to Purdue Gold, and now Purdue Gold is here. They're looking for revenge. St. Clair, this is going to be very telling for what they have to offer. If they can kind of go pound to pound with these top teams, I mean, Purdue Gold sitting number 18 in the standings for the top 25 of the CCL. This is going to be hard for Saints. And if they can run it to a map 5, if they can pull some games off of Purdue, it is going to be really, really strong for this team.
Yeah, they'll be playing to get in that top 4 so they can auto qualify for the playoffs. But we start to look at the statistics here as we get ready for checkmate hard point. And for St. Clair, 1-1 on the map and mode. Might not tell you a whole lot. Purdue, on the other hand, 3-1. And then overall in hard point in general, Purdue 11-1 coming into this contest. I think if there's going to be a favorite, it has to be them. I mean, just their overall map record, 23-7 compared to 22-8. Okay, maybe I need to not get too far ahead of myself. But you just look at that map and mode. Purdue with the upper hand right now. What do you see as maybe the key for the Saints here if they want to come out and make a statement win in map 1?
Well, the key for the Saints is that Garrison hardpoint for map number 4. It's the only map really in this rotation for these vetoes that favors St. Clair on paper, where they are 4-1 on Garrison hardpoint. Purdue Gold has the better of them on every other map and mode. So it's not only that, you're really looking at St. Clair to really kind of bring it to that checkmate hardpoint with some heavy hitter artillery. You got to look for plane control. You got to let your tiny tears between Simp and Priestley just run rampant on that plane. And when you're even looking at maybe your fourth players, you're sitting there, you're looking at Saints Lavelle, the AR player. He's going to be looking for those rotations, looking to lock down that time, as he is mostly that anchor player to kind of watch those spawns. Checkmate is very spawn favorable, especially if you start on that point 2 side. You're really looking to lock it down. That's where Lavelle is going to come in handy, and slaying them, he is going to be key for that objective hill. I mean, you need a player who can sit in there and then keep Purdue off of it. And that is where slaying them. He's sitting there with a 2.15 KD, that objective player of the team. He is going to be on my watch list to make sure that he can keep Purdue away from those points, slay out of them, and allow Sauce and Priestley to not have to worry about the point, to take that mid-map control, kind of set up a line of scrimmage, and keep Purdue away from them.
Right. Those stats jump off the page to me to have a 2.15 KD and also be averaging 121 seconds on the hill, not only playing the objective, but picking up the slaying power as well. So we'll definitely be paying attention to that. But again, tonight, the GAs still in place. No muzzle breaks. I hadn't realized last night that they GA'd muzzles and compensators as well as the
Oh,
M4. So things really have been shaken up a little bit. You're going to have to control your shot a little more these days. You won't be just automatically locking on and having auto recoil, it felt like with the M4 at times. So we'll definitely be paying attention to that. Maybe some QBZs in the mix, but checkmate a little longer range. You'll probably see some Krigs, couple submachine gun players. But looking at it from the side of Purdue Gold, I mean, is there a key for them to maybe hold off the Saints in this one where they might be favored a little bit?
Honestly, if you're Purdue, you're just playing your game. I mean, you have that 11-1 record on hardpoint. You're looking to play as a coordinated four stack, just move as a one cohesive team and try to bully the Saints off the points. Just use that heavy hitter power that you have, that number 18 skill that you have. And I mean, Vanish Tom on this team. He's a very good leader, and I'm sure that he's going to be able to keep Purdue in check for this whole game mode. That's what makes it so hard for Saints, is that Purdue is such a good core four squad that St. Clair, they have to watch out for the bully potential that Purdue has, like slaying them off the points, taking control, and just moving from side to side. Like, it's just, they own the place. So if you're Purdue Gold, literally you just play your game. Like, they in their eyes, like, they should be the favorites in this matchup against St. Clair. And St. Clair really coming from that underdog status, looking to make sure if they can take down Purdue, maybe gain a status on that top 25 for CCL, lock down some placements going into the split number 2. This is the first matchup for split 2 for both of these teams, the only two teams in Mid-America that are in this split. So this is going to be a good start for Saints to upset a strong team, or Purdue to just kind of keep their position as that dominant number 18 team in the Mid-America region.
Yeah, it's a momentum game. It's to establish dominance in the division now that we get into our split. And I mean, you look at Purdue Gold, 8-1. The one loss, it went the distance against Shawnee State. They lose both search and destroys in 5-6. They lose the raid control in round 5 as well. So that one went all the way down to the wire. Purdue considers themselves almost as an undefeated team because that one was so close. But we are about ready to jump into checkmate, and it'll be that plane for the first 2 maps. Search and Destroy gets pretty interesting on checkmate. Definitely going to be looking forward to it, though. And I don't know. I think it's definitely going to be key to win this first map. It feels like these teams are kind of neck and neck. The momentum we talk about in esports, so huge. So we start to load into this one. Have you, the QBZ, too. I'm going to be paying attention to this new meta and seeing what guns people are using.
Well, honestly, checkmate, you're looking at the ARs. XM4's out. The Krig is that main AR now. And honestly, taking control of the wings for those power positions of those assault rifles is going to be so key, especially the fact that you have those AK-74Us now. A little bit less contested with the XM4 out, but maybe the muzzle brake being G8 is going to keep it a little bit tame against those Krigs, give them a better chance. And that is what I'm going to be looking for, those ARs, especially if you see that QBZ come out, maybe it'll kind of slow down this pace of the 74Us, keep them in check and lock down the lades. But here we go. We have it. First hardpoint is going to be the center of the plane, and it is going to be a bloodbath.
It is always a bloodbath up here in the first hill as the wall bang's already coming through. Benji will be the first one to go down as both of these teams stack up and get ready to pile on to the point. You mentioned the assault rifle play, going to be huge in this one, and Tragic is definitely a player to watch. The 2+ KD in hardpoint, and already starting off with 2 of his own here. You can see it here. The control already heavily in favor of Purdue Gold. They've got the first hill intact, and now they got to start to try to get some map control before P2.
Saints absolutely being slain out of their spawn. Priestley, the last one here. Vanish Tom made a big flank to get all the way back P2. You see him picks up Priestley, clears out the spawns, and Purdue, they flip it. They get 28 seconds and counting. Tragic's on a 5 spree, holding down this first hardpoint. And as a big lockdown for Purdue right away. And they have the rotations to P2. St. Clair, a fumble off the gates.
Tragic, the hot start off to 6-1. And you're right, the setup already here for Purdue. They have a chance to really start to ring up this lead on this second hill. Tragic in the tube, laying down the shots, and we'll see where the hit comes through for St. Clair. There's one player here, maybe a chance to sneak around. It's Brandon, and he's in behind enemy lines. He's going to be in a big spot as his team falls in front of him. He needs to find a couple kills on the backside. Going to lay eyes on the sauce. He gets one. Second in is going to be Tragic, who really turns on Brandon there pretty hard with the snapper. And it's still a pretty solid hold here for Purdue Gold.
Now, if you're Saints, you have to come back on this point 3. I mean, you look at a team like Optic Gaming, they're really solid at locking down time on P3. Same with Atlanta FaZe, and take a number out of their books. You kind of lock down the angles. You take control, push out off those wings. You can get plenty of time, honestly, under your belt for this P3 hardpoint. They are playing for plane control, which is important. Nobody on the objective just yet, and a heavy presence for St. Clair actually towards point 4 to kind of lock down those point 5 spawns and keep their side of the map in check. But as I say that, Purdue, just that bully team, they walk on in, they slay Priestley out, they have top plane control, nobody's collecting time.
So difficult right now for St. Clair when they're losing the slaying battle. VT2 finds another, and Tragic just came out on something different tonight. 12-2, all ready to start. Wasn't able to get any of his score streaks, but he has been controlling the map. 35 seconds on the hill as well as we get into P3 here. And the nades come through to get Benji off the point for the time being, but more kills coming through for Purdue Gold. They should be able to get control of this point. It's the ARs, like we talked about before the start of this one, that are really laying it down. You got Priestley finding one in Tragic, but VT is here to soak up this time. The lead now approaching 100 points. We're still in our first set of rotations. SCC need to change something fast.
And this is where top plane control is going to be good. Point 4, I mean, it's very wide open from the wing of the left wing of the plane. Sauce going to be underneath it, has the backup as well, but 2-for-2 split on each side is going to leave this open for contention. And Tragic, this heavy Slayer, probably looking to opt over, put some tests to Priestley and contest this right away, but they don't even need to because they're keeping Priestley off it. They have a foot on the hard point, and Benji pushing these lanes and looking to kind of keep these Saints players off the point for even longer. Picks up 2 before going down. And Purdue already 129-16, putting Saints in check.
Yeah, big statement showing here out of the gates from Purdue. 15-4 now for Tragic. I think he's one guy who's definitely not too upset about the meta so far. He continues to slay out on this map. Sauce holding down the power position up top. Gonna find Sauce Nado. Put him down. A little Sauce battle up top. As this lead continues to extend for Purdue Gold, another rotation coming through, and they are the ones on the front foot. They will be set up for this next hill. Maybe some scrap time here for the Saints, but you got to start to get ahead on these rotations. It's so difficult when you're losing the slaying battle. Nobody in the positive category right now. And then on the other side, everybody at least 1 kill positive for Purdue Gold. 153-22 here as we get set for this next rotation.
And this is where you just... It's hard to see Saints taking control of this 5th hardpoint because it's such an AR hardpoint. You know, you have Vanish Tom and Tragic, the 2 ARs of Purdue, not allowing Saints to really do a whole lot. I mean, together, they have 28 kills already. And this first hardpoint rotation isn't even swamped. So, initial time here at Purdue Gold, they lose the spawns in the back. But Benji realizes that, takes the gunfight, gets away with his life, turn and burn. But Priestley still finding the kill huge, ends up getting cleaned up. So, Purdue, they don't have to blink an eye at this one. They still have the potential for 200 points on the rotation to the reset. And honestly, Purdue, you're just looking at them coming out so strong. An AR-centered map for checkmate, and they are dominating it between Vanish Tom and Tragic.
Dominating. Benji was going for the montage-level play there with the turn-on onto Priestley. He wasn't able to get it. Sauce finding 2 on the hill, and this one approaching an end here. We're only through 1 set of rotations, but 210 points for Purdue Gold. Something you don't see a lot, this kind of a commanding performance. We look at the stat lines again, 19-7 for Tragic. He's the one putting everything together. Now picking up the submachine gun. He's already used the AR, just trying to mix things up, maybe make it harder on himself. It doesn't matter as he finds one. The second was Sauce Nado. Gonna slow the bleeding for now. I think at this point, if you're St. Clair, you're looking for any bit of momentum you can grab before heading into map 2, because this one is pretty much all but done and dusted.
Well, Sauce and Priestley, 2 players that I highlighted from St. Clair. About even in the scoreline between the 2 of them, but just not enough really for the Saints to keep in this. So they're really just kind of falling behind against the ARs of Purdue and not really finding the openings that they need to. A heavily contested point 1 from the Saints here. A big change up from the first rotation around. That's what I like to see, you know, moving in this, just keeping your hopes up, playing your game, make sure you don't, like, you're not down in the dumps into the search and destroy. I mean, the game's not over till it's over. And you don't have the point 2 spawns, but you are going to have 30 seconds to kind of get across the map and try to make some magic happen.
Gotta make some magic happen is right. As you fall in this deep hole, we head to P2 again. The setup in place for Purdue Gold. We mentioned at the start of this one that both of these teams already in the second split for the CCL season 2021. But I mean, seeding still in play. Statement to be made, and Purdue are the ones making it right now. A chance to close it out on this second hard point here. Couple players manning the time on the hill. Brandon at the front will fall. Second player pushing from the backside. VT trying to finesse. He goes down to level, and there's the break for St. Clair. So this one's not over just yet. A chance to get on to P2. They try to fight for a little bit of pride here at the end.
If you look at Purdue, they don't even want to challenge this. You just set up for third hard point. You need 6 seconds to win it out. You're winning the battles at the half, and you're even pushing these P2 spawns to just keep scenes even deeper into their spawns now. Actually breaking through the front, they still can win off this, and they crack the hard point. 3 seconds left. It looks like Purdue off that 5-3 in the end. They're just going to take it, bullying their way into the point once again. Something I highlighted, just this heavy slaying team plays so well together, and centered around that AR of Tragic. There's so many opportunities that spawn off this player Tragic, and honestly, Benji doesn't really have to do too much on the point as the team's just working around this AR.
Had to make sure they get the 100-point club there at the end as they push back onto P2, and Tragic in the kill cam was just a freak all game long, and near double positive kill death ratio there in that one. And I mean, he's the guy on the roster sheet who has the 2 KDs, so you might expect that out of him. But I think for the Saints, that's a tough pill to swallow off the start. Now you got to hope that your search and destroy is in a better spot, right? You hope you've been practicing that a little more. And we talk about that, how a lot of these players are search and destroy minded. They come from that game mode. It's been in Call of Duty longer than it's the longest lasting game mode in Call of Duty. So you have to hope that maybe this is one that they're better at.
I have to see Saints slow it down. I mean, Purdue, I was saying Tragic was opening so many opportunities just for them to find the routes and get in behind the team. I mean, right off the rip, Vanished Tom, like not even halfway through that first hard point, was all the way back garage for point 2 spawns. Like, you need to see Saints not try to pick up the pace, like play at the pace of Purdue. They need to slow it down, really check their angles, because Purdue's slippery, and you're seeing that. They get in behind you, they leech those spawns away, and they just take control of the game from behind. And it's just something that Saints need to realize. They need to check their corners, check their routes, and make sure that Purdue doesn't have the opportunity to get in behind them. That really comes down to slowing your mindset, kind of playing at your pace, playing the Saints game instead of Purdue's game, and into the search and destroy. A slower game mode indeed, especially on Checkmate. Another opportunity for the ARs of the Saints to show what they have to offer in this. It's going to be a tough one, though, against Tragic and Vanished Tom. You know, they was on fire for that first hard point, but definitely search and destroy, a different tale when it does come to the game modes of Call of Duty, a whole different mindset when it comes to the game modes of Call of Duty, and a big potential for St. Clair to kind of turn this around and bounce back. When you saw what Toronto Ultra did back against Optic when they got slapped on Checkmate hard point, and they came back and they won 6-1, I'm pretty sure, on that search and destroy next map.
Absolutely, right? Like you said, this is an opportunity for the Saints to slow things down, try to win the game with your brain and your thought making more than your gun. And I will say, it felt like in that first map, it wasn't just the guns for Purdue Gold, but we mentioned it was the rotations and some of the extra steps they were taking to make sure they were in good positioning on the map. That definitely doesn't bode well for the Saints, but I think, like we're talking about, search and destroy, an opportunity to maybe try and get one back here. And if you look at the experience levels, 1-1 for St. Clair on Checkmate Search and Destroy, 1-0 for Purdue. Maybe that's a better record, but there's one extra game played for the Saints. Maybe they've learned 1 or 2 extra things in that extra bit of experience they've had. Who knows? I think at this point, you're looking for any positives you can take out of it, right?
Well, especially Priestley and Brandon, you know, 2 players with a +2 KD in Search and Destroy, and you're going into a map like Checkmate. You do have the experience under your belt. You can take control of this game. It's just, once again, you know, playing that creative mindset. Like you say, it's the mind games that you need to play. The thought process it needs to be creative for St. Clair, because this Purdue team's not going to roll over easily. Once you do, you just need to keep them on their backs, because Purdue Gold, when you back them into the corner, they will bite back, and Saints, they need to be ready for that, especially when it happens. And you look across the board for all of Saints. I mean, the lowest KD you have for Search and Destroy is a 1.4 on Sauce. And Sauce, a very momentous player. If you get the ball rolling, he can heat up. He can come alive. And honestly, that KD might not play the tail for him.
The Saints will be looking for any momentum they can grab in this one as they try to reroute the 250 to 74 walloping in map 1. But it will be search and destroy, a chance to slow things down and try to make some alpha brain plays, I guess, as Priestley will be the one we jump on board with here to start. I believe that's Air Force One back inside the plane garage here. Is already an aggressive start on offense here for Priestley. He's going to lay eyes on a VT, pick up a kill. Lovell finds one as well. So a hot start here for the Saints in round 1. They get themselves with a life advantage, 4-2. Benji has to try to play this bomb. He finds one. The pre-fire, and Tragic gets the second. Now down to a 2v2 situation.
And Benji just hops right back on there. Has an idea that the bomb's down because you killed the player that's sliding right onto it. Priestley's still working his angle from the side of the plane. Opposite side, Lavelle with an interesting scope is going to make it a 1v2. Tragic, you saw what he could do in game 1. Let's see if he can keep that going in game number 2. Rotates all the way around to the wing. Bombs recovered by the Saints. They're going to rotate around. A 1-1 standing now. Tragic makes it even. Swaps to the Diamante. He knows Priestley's there and even takes the kill. Holy heck. Tragic is here to play.
Well, I think that's the last person you want to see last alive. If you're the Saints there after that first map Tragic has, he starts it with 3 here and a big 1v2 clutch in the end. My goodness, had to use the Diamante too just to embarrass his opponent at that time. We'll see it in the kill cam. The reads here too, really good to pick up on level, jumping out the backside, and then knowing a player is going to fall down from the wing. Unbelievable stuff there out of Tragic, using that Diamante to success as Purdue Gold picks up where they left off, taking round 1. They win it on defense that time. And I think, again, I always talk about winning offenses in Search and Destroy, and the way the maps work this year with no smokes and snipers in play. You can win a couple offenses, 1 or 2 offenses, you're really going to put yourself in a good spot, and I think that's what I usually pay attention to. Which team can get an offense first?
Saints had a 4v2, threw it at the books.
Yeah.
They had a good start and immediately dropped the ball. Now Sauce, once again, first blood to the Saints. Looks like the B site is where that bomb is going to be dropped. Benji with heavy positioning inside this plane, even pushing for more, and he's going to find an equalizer off of that, be able to drop this bomb. You can play those post-plant positions in this 3-on-3. Not able to drop the bomb just yet. Off-screen, Lavelle with a big gunfight, and that is going to disrupt this attack, and Purdue falling apart at the seams. Benji going to find one before dropping, but St. Clair just suffocating from all corners of the map.
A really good job there from Level to back away, wait for some teammates to come and support and get that kill when they have the life advantage. We see Brandon here in the play of the game, drawing a couple of these kills. Yep, helping his teammate here at the back end. That was huge. So they trade rounds on defense to start. You got Sauce on one team, Sauce NATO on the other. I'm sure that must be a spinoff of Sharknado. Gotta love it. The creativity of some of these names in the CCL is unmatched.
Well, last year he was Saucy Moo Moo over in the Saints. So he decided to change it up to Sauce NATO. A 1-2 start. You can have the bomb in hand. Looks like maybe an A modified hit with Lavelle leading towards that side of the map, and a late playing control from the Saints. They do spot out Benji, slowing at this, goes for the nades to try to lock down a kill. Still 4-on-4 before instant 2-piece across the board. Brandon gonna trade out with Priestley. A 3-on-3 now with first blood to the Saints.
Another 3v3 situation here. Still a minute to play with, is the offense remaining pretty conservative on the backside, and it might be a push over towards A, something you don't see often. See if the defense is able to pick up on it. Benji holding things down up top. Sauce is not going to allow it to happen just yet. He's got the vision over here at A, but how about the no snipers allowed? Use the scope on your Krig. Level creeping around. Gonna be in an engagement soon if he creeps on out any further. Saucenado is gonna be spotted out with the flash, and that's huge information for the defense. Tragic in a great spot to slow down this push. He will get the kill onto the bomb carrier. Now a 2v3 with the bomb down. Another kill for Tragic. And it's all up to Level here with the scope. He's not gonna get it done against Benji. A good job there by the defense to play it slow and come out with the win.
And if you're going to push that A site, you really need a player to have the crossfire on yellow. That crate, it's such a strong sight line on that player that's moving into the bomb site. Tragic, the player that you want watching it as well, definitely not going to miss his shots. You can count on him. He gets a big kill onto Saucenado. He puts him in the grave, drops the bomb, and the rest is history. Purdue, another strong defense. Saints coming up a little bit short once again. After a strong start. This time on the attack, though. No team to win an attacking round. Last time, Purdue Gold, very aggressive once again. Going to do the same thing, except from the outsides of the map. Lavelle is going to shut it down, find first blood, but you have to pay attention to number 5, Benji. He's in behind the map. He's going to get one. No, he's not. It's a team kill. And St. Clair find 2 on top of it for a 2-on-1 now that Sauce is taking a nade kill.
Sauce with the huge nade. Has the bomb in hand, so maybe some plays to be made here. As he tries to spot another player. Level backing up. And the defense is going to play this one slow. Probably play it together, try to play the trades. Maybe a chance to get the plant here if Sauce wants it. Starts to creep forward. We talk about how winning an offense could be crucial in this match. Does he see Priestley up top? He doesn't. And Priestley's able to find the kill, so they trade defenses all the way through the start of this one. It's back to 2 apiece. I don't even know. It feels like in Search and Destroy in this game right now, you have to be doing things on offense as a team, playing the trades. We've seen a little bit of that, but it's difficult to find the opening and take it when you find it.
Honestly, that first Search and Destroy attack from Saints, that was a must win right now. What it looks like these teams on defense just standing out. That first attack win is gonna spell the story for this game mode. Another B hit, a late one though for the bomb. Strong B hold from Purdue though, putting all their bells and whistles in this spot, even finding that route in behind. Benji so fast, and he's gonna find 2.
The high risk, high reward paying off. Can he get the third? Shots going into Brandon. A good nade will stick Brandon, and he finds 3 in this round.
Give him the ace.
The 4th is last alive underneath the plane. He's going to fall to the Diamati, and Benji making big plays there on defense, rushing through the top of the plane and finding 3.
Is the right timing. Sauce must have ducked under those stairs. Tragic COD timing. Not favoring the States. And that stick. Brandon, oh, that is the epitome of unluckiness for St. Clair. Just timing that nade, everything going right for Benji in that situation. 7-3 on a 3 streak here. Probably going to look for another B hit as well. And off that momentum, might go for a strong one.
Yeah, slightly fortunate there to get the stick. And you're right, the timing was good. Up to 7-3 now. He's got the submachine gun play, and then Tragic 5-2 with the assault rifle as this push through B should be sought out from the wall bangs. Now just no reason to slow down. Tragic pushing around the back, finding one. Second player up top's down to 1 health. He goes down as well. Brandon's able to find Benji on the backside, but this push through from the top of the plane from Purdue Gold is solid here. They got 3v2 life advantage on offense.
Trades definitely favoring Purdue here. VT puts Saints at 1. Lavelle for the 1v3. And Tragic cleans him up. Purdue for the first attacking win. And a 2-round advantage now. 4-2. They're cracking open this checkmate. It's exactly what I called as well. You know, coming off that momentum from that last defensive win. Pushing right down mid. Benji off the wing with his counterpart. A 2-piece. They get traded for 1, but everything spelt Purdue after that play.
These guys have just got a little bored. They said, screw it. Let's just push right through the top of the plane and back-to-back rounds. And we talk about how winning an offense is huge. Now they extend their lead 4-2. And if they can win this defense, it's a closeout round up next. If you're St. Clair, you're in a tough spot here. Really would like to see you win this round. Maybe you take a play out of your opponent's book and try to get aggressive here. Brandon underneath the plane. Might have just laid eyes on a Tragic. But Benji again on the backside, making the push, flanking around. The thorn in the side of the Saints is going to find 1. His teammates, though, are going to fall. So now 2v3. And they have the knowledge of where Benji is at the backside. Oh, maybe they did until he snuck away. The snake that Benji is on the back end. Trying to find another. He gets the shots into Priestley. His second is not going to happen as Sauce-Nado picks up the drop. Sauce, though, able to trade the kill onto his other Sauce compadre. And Saints able to win an offense. They trade it back. That's huge out of them.
It's definitely a big round. You don't want to be dropped onto map point here. Trades were scary. Benji once again finding that back line like it was nothing. Saints have to learn by now. You have to know. If you don't see a four players in front of you, Benji's behind you. He's 9-5. He is not slowing down. He's gonna keep the wheels going until he just busts through that wall that is the St. Clair Saints right now. Another defensive win, or that was an attacking win actually for the Saints. So swapping over, they're gonna mimic Purdue. Now back on defense, looking to even it up. Benji though leading the way through the middle of the plane.
I mean, this guy has just had his sprint button stuck forward. Non-stop on the move from Benji. The slide in from Sauce isn't going to work, but Benji there for the trade. Make it 10-5 for him on this one. Gonna look for the bomb here and gonna go ahead and lay it down as it's a 3v3 situation. This is looking good for Purdue Gold as they get the bomb down at B. They have positioning up top. Brandon might be one to make a play here as he climbs up from behind. He finds the planter and Benji the second from BT. He has it, and can he get the third at the back end? He can't. Tragic, as we know, is the clutch player here for Purdue Gold in 1v2.
Saints are hopping it. Saints are hopping it. Is he going to be ready for it? He should have the eyes on Lavelle. He doesn't see him. Oh, Lavelle, perfect spot to just stay away from the sight lines of Tragic. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. That is the player you want in those clutch situations. Tragic just getting some absolutely abysmal positioning. That is so unlucky to not be able to see the bomb plant from that position. The Bucks just barely leading, aka Lavelle, to that next round. Now evened up at a piece, 4-4. An aggressive round from Purdue, but a good stance from Sauce NATO to kind of shut down that initial attack, play for the trade, slow down Purdue, understand that there's heavy aggression inside the plane, and they took all sites around it, did the right thing, suffocated those players inside the plane cockpit. And as soon as the trades came through, St. Clair just had the better positioning.
Yeah, huge win there from St. Clair to tie this one up. Is back on defense. Go Purdue Gold. Sauce up top here. You see how this match starts to get to a slow point as neither team want to be the first one to lose a life. Priestley over on the left side is not going to be spotted there on the back end, and you have a player up top thinking about making his push. Level in the back. The knockoff sniper rifle.
Oh,
Brandon finds one on the VT. That's a huge opening pick for the offense. Still have Sauce hanging out here top table, waiting for this push. And Benji here in support isn't going to find the kill onto Brandon. Great movement out of Brandon. Sauce, the last one alive here up top in the plane, trying to slow down the push. He's all up to him. 1v4. Shots going down. He finds one on a Priestley. The pre-fires not going to happen. And the Saints win another round on offense. They put it into a closeout situation.
In Cold War season, Brandon comes onto the playing field, and Brandon really putting it to Purdue here. You see, not only finding a heroic two-piece to bring him to a 4-4, but a huge opening to bring him to map point. Now Saints have to close out here. You can't see that round 11, because if they put on there and Purdue takes this 2-0 win, it's going to be a tough control. This is a big round right now from the St. Clair Saints, and they are going to be going for a pretty passive defense around the plane instead of getting aggressive onto the bomb site. Lavelle wrapping around, look for that first blood, trying to get the better positioning. Sauce NATO just waiting behind the boxes for that bomb to go down.
See what Purdue Gold are able to draw up here with their backs against the wall. A couple players climbing up by the plane. Sauce NATO probably hearing the audio cues, but staying patient out there on his own wing. Is the push just ever so slightly getting closer and closer here towards B. You got the bomb still at the backside. Hopefully they can clear things out. Must be the plan. Tragic starting to move up on the right side. He's pushed up pretty far here in a tricky spot. Priestley finally going to lay eyes on. Shots coming through. Tags up a couple players, but they're able to get away with their lives. Benji will be the first to fall for the offense. And things starting to look good for St. Clair here as this defense continues to hold strong. Sauce NATO finally going to make his peak. He gets a kill. It's all up to VT. And he's already spotted out. Information gain. 1v4. It's not going to happen. How about the St. Clair Saints? Coming from behind in that one, picking up the win and tying the series at 1 apiece.
That's some big energy right there from the Saints. You know, immediately, you know, you're down. You connect 3 rounds in a row. That round number 10, you understand that Purdue, they want to equalize. They want to come out swinging. They want to push Saints on back. Saints realize that. They play passively on checkmate. They hold a backline defense. And as soon as you see Purdue go for those aggressive plays, try to take the aggressive gunfights, and St. Clair, they're just waiting. They have the angles held down. You walk right into their red dot sites, they just drop you. And that's a flawless round for St. Clair to close out that map. A big bounce back from a checkmate 250 to 74. I mean, that's all you want really from St. Clair Saints. Then that is a heavy swing round now, pushing into this control where you are going to finally see a team take this lead once again. If it is going to be Purdue, that's what we are waiting to see. But St. Clair off a hot streak right now. 3 runs in a row on S&D.
Huge stuff. And I try to fix my camera. Must be some profanity on my screen. I'm too ugly. It's good. You don't want to see me. But just huge plays. Oh, and let me just make sure you're not hearing me 5 times over. But huge plays out of St. Clair there. The score goes to 4-2 in favor of Purdue Gold. They're on offense. They get a 3-2 life advantage. St. Clair are able to pull out that win to bring it to 4-3. And then they hang on to win that match in the end. I just think huge momentum now as we head into a third map. After that big-time beatdown in map 1, to come out there clutch in the end of that search and destroy and pick up the win. It's just absolutely massive as we start to look towards Garrison now. We messed around on the plane. Now we go towards the tanks. And it'll be in Germany where the Garrison, the tank garage is at as we go to this control. Another one where it's manageable for St. Clair. They don't necessarily have to depend on gun skill too much. They can start to methodically win this map. But Garrison, as we know, is very defensive heavy, just like Checkmate, Search, and Destroy. What are you expecting out of this next matchup?
I'm expecting the SMGs to turn up. I mean, St. Clair, I mean, you put Brandon into the roster, you see what he just did on that Checkmate S&D. He really broke through for the Saints. Now you have to transition that momentum from Checkmate S&D into Garrison. It's not so much determined by the ARs, especially that the accent force out of the rotation now. You know, going for that Craig 74U, we did see a QBZ on this map yesterday, but I don't expect it between two of these rosters because I didn't see it in the Checkmate hardpoint. So kind of sticking to that Craig AK-74U is going to be big for the Saints because this map is generally kind of mastered and dominated from the AK-74U. You saw what players yesterday, like Sparky, was able to do on this map, just constantly in the backline on Checkmate or on Garrison control, making sure that you can just kind of chip away at those lives again and again. Really, it's just going to come down to an attacking round, but we are going to throw it to a little bit of a break before we head into this third map, a little bit of a breather before we take control of the rest of the series. So stay tuned for some more Call of Duty COD action. This is going to be a big one coming up soon, a swing map.
Folks, welcome back. This series just went from sleeper to heater in the matter of moments. Is St. Clair able to hang on at the end of that search and destroy and tie this one up? We head to Garrison Control next, where we will go for our next two maps. And this is just going to be another battle here for offensive round wins, as we talked about it in the Checkmate search. Again here in Garrison Control, whichever team could come up with a win on offense could really set themselves up in a good spot. It's one where we just talked about it. The SMGs are going to be, it's a playground for the submachine gun players. Yeah. They're going to have a lot of fun on this one.
It's the concrete jungle for the SMGs of this team. And I think St. Clair Saints are going to really run rampant with this, especially seeing what Brandon just did in Checkmate S&D. As soon as Purdue found that offensive round win, St. Clair was like, you know, anything you can do, I can do better. And they ran with it from that situation on. Now, Garrison, it's going to be tough. You got to look for those offensive rounds. It's hard, especially since the accent force out of the roster. You know, it's even more difficult to kind of battle against these power angles that the Craigs have. And when you do get onto the site, but as soon as you break on through, there's a good chance that the SMGs can maybe break into brick, you know, take that flank angle through back tank and do some damage in that back line. You really look at the attackers to be aggressive, you know, play very safe with your lives, not try to throw your lives away for nothing and conserve them for the later ends of the rounds.
Absolutely. A lot of little nooks and crannies for the submachine gun players to play with. We jump into this next map, and the barrel shooting, I've never seen that out of levels. You learn something new every day as the push already starts to come through to be Tragic, as we know, is not just afraid of any fights. He finds two at the rip. Benji gets one as well. It's going to be an opportunity to push forward and get some map control here. A couple players starting to stack. Sauce NATO, the one player who wasn't found, is going to be on the backside. He's finding one through the vent. Big plays out of him as his teammates come off spawn. They try to regain this map control. It's not going to happen if Tragic has anything to say about it. He's finding more kills on B. And another onto Sauce NATO, almost up to 2 ticks by himself here. And if you're the Saints, you got to get him off this point before long.
Honest Lonesome, 2 caps now. 2 ticks of progression finally cleaned up here. You're looking at this heavy start from Purdue, but Saints bounce back now. Lives even. A dangerous setup for the B-side. Sauce moving right back into these vents to try to get that back line. Lavelle putting some pressure on the spawns as well. You love this setup for the Saints, but a big gunfight from Sauce to put his foot on the site. Brandon for the trade. And Purdue, once again, looking to break on through with the back of Tragic. They clean up Lavelle in the back line. Now it's go time.
He highlighted Brandon at the start on a 3-kill streak now as he starts to warm up. Gonna make it 4 with the turn on there. And this man is holding down B for Brandon right now on defense. The A push coming through as VT sneaks in from behind. Starting to get some progression here as Priestley will be the one to try to slow that down. Benji pushing onto the point. He's got a player coming up from behind in the vent. Sauce says, don't worry about it. I'm holding it down. He picks up the kills. This could be the opportunity to grab B. Priestley's playing outside the map, has to climb back in, and he will fall. So it's progression at both points now for Purdue Gold. This is not looking good for the Saints. You have to chalk B, get over to A, get this player off the point so you can get a setup in place.
They gave Tragic off, but now the flood comes through. 3 go down for the Saints. Big start now. Purdue off that hot B capture. Minute 40, life control as well. A 4 life advantage. Benji in the back spawns. He actually gets one before going down. Priestley gonna clean him up. Now 2 ticks of progression for Purdue Gold. Tragic on the front line. Players flooding through bricks. Sauce the first one up. Does heavy damage. Even finds the kill now just before it's capped. Sauce in a tough position. Naded out of it. Saints bounce back. They hold on. Lives are even, but only 1 tick needed.
And this is really could go either way, but to me, I think Saints are in a good spot here. You get a setup together, and you have to expect the long routes if nothing comes to the front sometime soon. VT and company pushing around the back. Tragic gets some shots in, but Brandon's able to find the kill. VT alone on the backside will fall to level. Benji as well hitting the long route. He goes down. And that's a strong hold there from the Saints. They get the lives back in their favor, 9-8. As Purdue Gold goes back to the drawing board, they reset and try to figure out how they want to make this break.
Brandon's head on a swivel right now. So heads up from the Saints to clear their spawns. Now Priestley watching the front line. QBC does some damage, not finding the kill. Tom now break control. Sauce with the counterpart breaking open the sight line. Lives are even. Brandon's keeping his pace forward, but Sauce 3 go down for the Saints. Now it's go time for Purdue. They have their foot on. They have that fast cap. Saints, they're so far away. That's going to be the attacking round of Purdue. They wipe through breaks. They get 3 on the point. A fast cap for that last tick. Textbook from Purdue.
Yeah, huge stuff. You're able to get those first 2 ticks of progress earlier in the round, and that proves to be huge at the end. It's all you need. It's one final tick. Tragic in the kill cam. Finessing over here at Back Radar. So fun to play back there if you have this kind of movement as he's laying down the shots as well. Really strong start from Purdue Gold. We talk about how winning an offense could really prove to be the deciding factor on this map and mode. And Purdue Gold come out the gates and do exactly that. Up 1-0 here. St. Clair will be looking to answer like they did in that search and destroy just a map ago. I mean, these guys, you can never count them out. They're going down 4-2 in checkmate search. They came back and won at 6-4. We'll see what they can do to answer here as they go on to offense. VT through the first line here at B, holding things down. Couple kills for his squad in the kill feed. Priestley's able to trade it back with 2 of his own using that QBZ in the new meta. This thing is just, I mean, it's near just as good as the M4. Don't sleep on it just yet. And he's using every gun available to him. He gets one with the AK-74U as well, up to a 3-kill streak as the push starts to come through at B.
There's opportunity for Priestley. They clean up Benji. They're going to gain progression. They have 2 players on, so it's going to be fast progression as well. Priestley almost wins it, but 2 go down for the Saints now. Contention's out. They got to watch the backline. Shot punch for Tom, and he's letting him know. Oh, Tom is giving him the work with that. They're going to decap B site. And the Saints, they have to worry about their backline because Tragic has found his way in. He's set up camp, and he is running rampant. Saints are really on their back foot. 38 seconds to break through. No ticks on either side, and no map control either.
Not a good sign when you have Tragic going for farming kills in your spawn. Finally, Priestley able to climb up and get him there, but Benji's also trying to cause a nuisance. Sauce as well. Everybody for Purdue Gold moving up to the spawns as they continue to pick up the kills. 22 lives to 16 now. If you're the Saints, you start to think about just playing for those kills a little more in case you are to reach around 5. It's not looking good here in this round of offense. Saucenado able to find one onto Tragic up top. Could be an opening here. Brandon, though, is going to fall to Benji. VT's finding kills in vents. Priestley last one to try to make a push. It's not going to happen. And Purdue Gold hot here in control. 2-0 to start this one. That was another strong showing in that round.
Purdue Gold, that respawn team, that is just seems like they're the Saints' kryptonite. 2 rounds linked together, back on the attack now, and you have to be looking at Tragic here. The way he broke through that B site first, he was able to get 2 ticks alone last time. The Saints have to keep their head going. They have to keep their head on a swivel for that one. They can't allow that to happen this time around. They need to bounce back. This is a big, big round here.
Purdue Gold, you give them credit. Just doing such a good job playing together as a team. It's well spread, the effort right now. 5 kill streak for Benji. But you got 14 and 9 from Tragic as well. The other side of things, you might look to AKA level to maybe turn up a little more here as we go back to the offensive side for Purdue Gold. Tragic going to fall first to Brandon. Brandon gets traded out. Saucenado, you're read like a book here from your fellow Sauce member. He picks up that kill. VT challenging out and shooting some more bodies. Showing a little disrespect here as the push to B comes through. Fast tick coming this time, and Brandon, it's not going to happen there either. He falls. At this point, looking good here off the rip for Purdue Gold. Already 2 ticks of progress, and they continue to fly this one up. If you're St. Clair, they're going to go ahead and shock and now turn their focus towards A, but Tragic's already making progress here as well. Brandon's able to clean up that kill and slow the bleeding for now. Maybe a chance for St. Clair to regroup.
The Saints are so lucky that Purdue doesn't get that tick of progression at the A site. I mean, if Tragic was able to lock that down, that would have just been heartbreaking for the Saints now. Luckily, the lives aren't out of proportion just yet. It's only a 4 life advantage. You gotta pay attention. You know Benji's gonna be in your backline after that search and destroy now. Sauce does open up for the first one, but now they understand that the backline is going to be set up with all Purdue players, and Benji is going to be the first line to start putting these players in the grave. Looking for the second across in the corner. Bad timing. Priestley's going to finally clean that one up and even connect a second. Make it 3. Priestley shuts down the flank from Purdue Gold. Now the Saints got to take their eyes to the front line, as it is going to be Purdue Gold setting up for their second attack.
Maybe the burst of momentum that the Saints needed, as Priestley finds 3 there, gets himself on a little streak. Sauce Nato in a tough spot, gets some support from Priestley to make it a 4-kill streak. Brandon not ready for Benji to be in his base. He's getting the kills, and Benji has just not really been focused on the objective. More so just farming them off spawn as he finds another, and Brandon able to clean him up. It's so frustrating to be killed off your spawn. Priestley holding things down at the backside. If you're St. Clair, you have to know that the long routes are what Purdue like to do. All they've done so far in this one to try to get this break, you got to be playing through this backside of bricks.
Well, last time Purdue actually capped this A site, it was through the progression that they gained from bricks, wiping out all the Saints player from bricks and kind of just swarming the A site. This time around, Saints really putting some heavy enforcements on that brick side. Now time to push these lanes, but as you do rotate around and try to take these aggressive angles, Purdue, they're cleaning you up. You got 25 seconds to hop on. Lives are even. 1 in favor of the Saints. Now slaying around at the edge. You got Priestley with that cover fire with that QBC. Sauce watching the flank now. 17 seconds for Purdue to kind of get anything on this A site. Stop the clock, and Saints are doing a really good job at slaying out.
And Priestley putting full display here how the QBZ is going to be the new meta. 23 and 12 on another little kill streak here. He continues to be pushed out near enemy lines, trying to pick up these kills. And that's going to be a strong showing there from the Saints. They lose B very early into that round, but they're able to regroup, get their setup in place today, and they hold on for the rest of the win. As Priestley here in the kill cam was just a beast in this round, really starting to turn up for the Saints, and they need him. I think if you're the Saints at this point, start to play through this guy who is obviously in the zone, the movement, the shots, it's all there. They're going to need it to continue here as they find themselves down 2-1 after that win.
I couldn't agree any more with you. This is such a good showing right now from Saints off that defense. But like, this attack though has been pretty lackluster for the Saints. They were being spawn trapped last time by Tragic and VT. They need to find that break early. They need to take control and find some early time in this, or else Purdue's just going to set up camp in their backline again. Brandon, the first one on site, B site, VT going to take this fight, backs up, but Brandon pushes on through. The only kill for the Saints and progression on this B site.
Huge kills from Brandon there as his teammates fall all around him. The clean sweep now from Purdue Gold forces the Saints back into their spawn like we saw a couple rounds ago. Don't want to get trapped here, as you already can see the pressure coming from Purdue Gold. AKA Level able to find Tragic, and Priestley finds Benji, so an opening to get out. Brandon finds another. That's a strong showing from the Saints now, but you still have Sauce in your back pocket here. You're not going to be ready for it. Priestley falls, and it's just that one last player that you're not accounting for, still being a wrench in your side. Tragic trying to get pushed back up again after he fell a couple seconds ago. The push coming back to B here. Brandon able to get some progress going. He's going to have to find the kills.
Tragic getting the right timing there. His teammate for the reinforcements. Now Benji on the second. St. Clair having trouble on this B site. A lot of enforcement from Purdue here. Big pushback now. Sauce with that cover fire is going to peek out, get his counterpart. Now it's not from the backline. Priestley checks it, but Sauce ready for that drop. Saints, after this first stick of progression, haven't really found too much on this B side. In fact, it's drawing blow for blow, trading lives. You're down to 30 seconds. You have to stop this clock. And honestly, for Purdue, every single trade you get, you are going to be feeling good for that. Because even if Saints cap this B site, you have to push to A. And that is probably the harder of the two to do.
Absolutely. It's been a pretty back and forth round to this point, but you can see only one tick of progress for the offense as they try to make their final push. 15 seconds left. Have to make something happen soon. VT picking up the team kill, but still in a good spot to keep these players off this point. He's going to find Priestley, and the Saints spawning deep. Benji's still here to keep them in deep. It's not looking good. It looks like we're going to be headed to hard point here with Purdue Gold up 2 maps in this series. That will do it. A strong showing there in Garrison control from the Gold. Becomes a 2-1 series as we go to Garrison again after this.
Honestly, that first round that we saw, Cam, with Tragic just absolutely dominating on this B site, getting 2 ticks of progression so early. really kind of set the pace for Garrison control, and it was tough just to bounce back for the Saints. I mean, we know that Garrison is a hard offensive map, and with an early win on offense for Purdue, just they had to just count on their defenses from then on, and so they did. They win their next defense. They do drop their attacking around the second time around, but that's expected. And you do the unexpected by taking one attacking round right away, and you just count on your defenses from then on. Purdue just had that game in the bag ever since that round number one. St. Clair fighting off their back foot now, down 2-1 in here, pushing the Garrison hardpoint. Another SMG centered map. I mean, we're not changing it. It's the exact same from Garrison. And I seen Priestley on that QBZ might be a change that they need going from checkmate to Garrison. And in fact, actually, this is the only map that St. Clair really have a leg up over the Purdue Gold Squad when it does come to the map count victories. St. Clair, they're 4-1 on Garrison Hardpoint. Purdue, they're 2-0. I mean, they have victories there. They haven't dropped a map, but experience in favor of Saints. And it was the same story on Checkmate S&D. Saints were 1-1. Purdue was 1-0, but Saints still came out with that experience.
Yeah, you were saying that from the start, that this is the one you're focused on for the Saints as an opportunity to get this to a game 5. We probably can't expect the same thing to happen for map 1. The blowout that we saw there on Checkmate, it's going to be different. And we just saw why. Like, Priestley started to turn up with that QBZ.
Oh, 100%.
Was near double positive in a couple of those rounds. I think that's going to be the key for them, letting Priestley get going a little bit, maybe bait for him a couple times. If you can get some streaks in your pocket, that'll be huge. But it's a momentum-based game. I mean, you see that in the way Purdue Gold are able to find it early in that control, and they take it all the way to the end. Still, I mean, I think it's just huge for the Saints to win that search and destroy, obviously, to force it deeper into this series. We still have another map to go. It's not over just yet, and that's what we learned, I think, in that search and destroy, that you cannot count these guys out until it's officially over. You're right. We go to the statistics for St. Clair on Garrison, 4-1. They've played this map a little bit more than Purdue Gold. Purdue Gold 2-0 so far on this one. We just saw it in control. Like, the submachine guns can have a good time. So can the QBZ, obviously, for Priestley.
Yeah.
But I mean, what again was going to be the key now if St. Clair try to force this to raid in map 5?
And really, you're looking at Tragic, who dominated that hard point the first game. He had the Krig 6. On that Garrison control, he was rocking the 74U. So he's comfortable flexing over that submachine gun roll. Now you're moving into hardpoint. Chance for him to pop off with that SMG as well. And if Tragic can keep that pace up that he had in Checkmate Hardpoint, might be the kryptonite that Saints aren't expecting going into this Purdue Gold match. And honestly, the Saints, if you're kind of looking at this overall, taking that Checkmate S&D, you're feeling good. You're kind of feeling hot right now. And this is your opportunity to draw map 5, bring it the distance, and try to upset this Purdue Gold team.
Absolutely. Just as we load in here, quick update over on the Alpha stream. You've got Concord Maroon really handling business against LVC Esports. They're up 2-0 in that series as they head to the control. Already a 1-0 lead on raid control, but we're focused on this one here on the Bravo stream. Another great battle going on as St. Clair tries to force this one to a map 5. We head to Garrison Hardpoint, where Purdue Gold will be looking to close this one out. They win that first hardpoint in dominating fashion, 250-74, but we just talked about it. We just broke it down, how this map is going to prove to be a different story. We'll be paying attention to Priestley for the Saints, who's really turning up in that control. As we head into the first hard point, Purdue Gold going to have the less favorable spawns. Might want to try to play for a flip. But Tragic up top green is going to fall to Priestley. A good start here for the Saints. A few kills in their favor. A chance to grab map control, and Sauce Nato is finding another. That's huge off the start.
Now you're looking at break control for Priestley. You got to clear up Benji. Then you have that rotation for point 2 on lock. Still 30 seconds to be had here. Tragic going to be overextending. Brandon ready for it. Saints going to hold on to this point 1, gaining as much time as they can. Sauce goes with a shot punch. Brandon just on a roll right now. Spawns flip once again. Purdue Gold now in favor of point 2. These teams just back and forth with it, giving up so much map position. And if you're Purdue Gold, you give up this first point, play for point 2, because this is a money hill you're going into. Point 2, you can get so much time, and honestly, you can take the lead over from Saints.
Right. I mean, 35 points off the rip is a great start for the Saints, but this rotation to P2, like you said, is crucial. Really the money hill on this map. And you can see how Purdue Gold are already set up. They're finding 2 kills off the start. Couple back here for the St. Clair Saints as they try to hit these long routes. Sauce Nato in an important spot is going to be there with his teammate Level. And are they ready for this if you're Purdue Gold? You got number 5 there, top crates, watching that backside push. Nobody really coming to the front. Tragic also trying to pick things up on the other end. He finds a kill. Brandon finds one as well. Saucenato able to climb in here, and there's only one player to deal with on the point. They climb up. It's Benji. Big 1v1 gunfight here from Saucenato and Benji, and Saucenato comes out on top. I say that, and maybe it wasn't so important because Purdue Gold able to flood on in. They have the more favorable spawns, and it's still going to be a hold for them.
Oh, this is
to
huge.
Try to bring this lead back.
Benji Lavelle back here. He's ready. He's watching the angle. Gets the better of him, and Benji clears out Lavelle. That is dangerous for the Saints because you look how far the rest of your team is in the middle of the map. VT taking care of you. QBZ going to clean him up eventually, but Benji's still here. 2 seconds left to lock down these spawns. He is going to be cleaned up. Big win for Saints. Now an even game. They can find this kill into VT. That is Saints with the 0.3 spawns. Now you're going from Money Hill to Money Hill. And if the Saints can push these angles, they can gain a plethora of time on this 0.3.
After Purdue grabs some time on P2, it's the Saints here in a controlling spot on P3, trying to get this lead back up to where it was, and huge kills coming through from Priestley and Tragic at the back. You can see the kill feed going yellow there in favor of Purdue Gold. They've gotten the flip back in their favor. They should be able to get about 30 seconds on this hill if they can keep things together. Sauce finding one at the front, and Benji holding things down on the point. It's going to have Saucenato to deal with there in vent room. He's able to get the kill. So after going down about 35 points to start, Purdue Gold able to string together a couple hard points. They find themselves in the lead, and already pushing out for this next set of rotations is Sauce.
You know, Saints have dropped 10 to 80 points ever since that first rotation from point 2. And honestly, slowing down ever since that that 0.1 hill. And they're actually going to be broken once again at the mid-map. They're going to concede that 0.3 for Purdue Gold, take control of the middle, kind of lock down this floating tank. And this is another hotly contested hard point. But Purdue Gold, with the gunfight wins, they flood out. They sweep away the Saints. And now they have point control, and they're going to cross that 100-point mark.
The timing of these rotations just absolutely massive for Purdue Gold as they continue to be in a good spot on this hill, holding it down and now up over 100 points. Benji has been impossible to kill over here in vent room on a 3-kill streak right now, as finally Priestley will be able to get the kill off of the player on the point and a chance to start to get some time back in your favor. Not before Tragic climbs out of the vent and gets a kill. 10 seconds should go in favor of the Saints here as we make another rotation over, but it really feels like Purdue Gold have just been one step ahead.
Especially with Vantage Tom taking Priestley off that P5. Cleaned up at that, but Saints have to be worried about this. Brandon taking control of Bridge. You see a split spawn for point 3 and 5 on the other side. Now Lavelle with the better timing on that is going to have the better position to lock down, but back tank spawns are going to be in favor of Purdue. You do have a split for either team. This is dangerous. People are spawning all over the place for this map cam. This is just crazy pandemonium on 0.5. And Saints keeping this as close as they can. You know, very different story from Checkmate Hardpoint. We're going into the reset of rotations after the 30 seconds that P5 has to offer. And Saints should be feeling good at keeping pace to Purdue Gold.
Yeah, finally the Saints able to get on the hill. It hasn't been a whole lot of time in favor of either squad here on P5. You're right, the spawn's just hectic right now, and really testing the map knowledge of these players. As Lovell tries to get on the point, he falls to the tandem here of Benji and Sauce. Sauce finding 2. Benji also teetering the point, showing off the movement as we get ready for another set of rotations. The spawns do flip, and in the backside it will be the Saints. Sauce trying to stay alive on the hill. He's not going to be able to do it. So we get over back to P2, and it's still gold here with the setup in place. Finally, the kill's coming through for the Saints. A chance to open things up.
Brandon.
And it's Brandon doing exactly that, kicking the door down. We know Priestley has been doing things pretty well here with this QBZ. We'll see what he's got right now.
This game is more of a team deathmatch rather than a hard point, what it looks like. This is just chaotic from both sides. VT is going to clean up that last player. Time to Purdue now on P1, and Saints one hard point away from making this a battle, as they're just fighting off that back form. Once again, it just seems like Purdue, like you said, one step ahead of the squad every single time around. Now Sauce gonna have a big gunfight against Tragic. Sees the feed, takes the fight. Tragic out the window. Sauce gonna take the fight. And now if he breaks through control room, takes control of radar, Saints will be set up for 0.2 and trying to string together that 0.1 to 0.2 Money Hill.
Definitely feels like Purdue with a little more thought-provoking gameplay, but right now the rotations are in favor of the Saints for P2 here. Something we didn't see in the first set of rotations. Saucenato is going to be in a big spot as 2 players start to flood through green. They're able to get the kills onto him. And just before you start to see a hold for the Saints, Purdue Gold able to make a break. Benji now will be the one to try to slow things down as his teammates fall around him. Still able to get the kill onto Brandon, and this should still be good for Purdue Gold as they try to extend their lead past 50 points on this hill. You got to start to think about which way you want to break this if you're the Saints. Hit some long routes here, set up a pinch to the top, and that's exactly what they're doing.
I don't like this. I don't like this from Saints because that kill from Lavelle, take a look at the minimap. Look where number 5 spawns. All the way back point 3. Only 20 seconds left on this hill as well, and you are going to get the scrap time, but it's not really what you need in this game. What you need is a strong rotation here, and Purdue Gold off that white for point 2 are going to have those point 3 spawns. You see that setup now. Number 5, he's going to have 2 players ahead of him, has the crossfire in the backup. Priestley going to take that gunfight and honestly be victorious in it. You have to be worried for Purdue now because the spawns are going to flip. You're going to have it, but Saints breaking through this. Number 5 spawns out, but so do the Saints.
Spawns have just been sporadic all game long. Purdue extending this lead right now. The Saints clawing tooth and nail to stay in this matchup. As again, we see kills being favored rather than the hard point. Not so important right now. Trying to get the map control is tragic as he finds one in the back. Trying to get those spawns for his team. As the kills come through for the gold, they're able to get on the point. They've got the spawns in their side. 30 seconds still to grab on this hill, and it looks like they'll be in a good spot to get it. More kills coming through. VT in vent room finding one, and he's going to be in a position to start to push out for the next set of rotations. Is now a good time to have a spawn flip. Level spawning in the back. And again, I think it's not necessarily about rotating, but about when you're rotating. So we're seeing from Purdue Gold doing everything right so far in this matchup. That's what's put them in the lead. And it hasn't necessarily been the killing department. We've talked about how it's been a team deathmatch, but it's been the rotations and those extra steps, using their brains to win this matchup so far.
Yeah, Saints going pound for pound in the kills, but those rotations really keeping them at the bottom now. A big break on point 4. Sauce going to be looking to pick up his time and kind of push out. Tragic on a 5-3 on the opposite side for Purdue. Trying to put the Saints out of this hill. Sauce finds the route, clears the point. Now time to Purdue as they're looking across the 200 points. 40 seconds left. They can get so much and put Saints really in a tough position off this point 4. So if you're the Saints, you have to contest this. You have to find the kills. You have to do it. But a big flood now from Purdue. They clear out green room, and look how far the Saints spawn. They're going to have so much time on P4.
This is tough right now. Purdue Gold managing the power position so well. Up top green, holding it down, and they should be able to extend their lead to a pretty good spot here, and they'll only need about 20 or so points on the next hill. See kills here from Brandon and V2. The gunfights in favor of Purdue Gold still. Next set of rotations starting to come through. The spawns might be in favor of the Saints if they can make something happen together, but VT with the reads, finding one onto Priestley. He will fall. Sauce is there for his trade. Can he find 2 on the point? He can. And this is going to be an opportunity for Purdue to close this one out here. 229 points and counting. Just need about 20 seconds more.
And honestly, Purdue in a good spot to spawn trap the Saints on back tank. Sauce can be watching from the front line. 10 seconds to win it out. Saucenado hits the flank, is the better of his counterpart. Clears the point now, but only 10 seconds still for Purdue to take this win, and plenty of time to do so. VT with double kill. Gonna put some shots in, just let him know. 5 seconds left now. Saints can't even touch the point. Tragic's in the back line. He's keeping them back, and Purdue's gonna win it in 4 with a big string from P4 to P5. 250 to 150. Saints didn't get a 100-point plug, but they need to work on those rotations if they want to run it back and take this next time.
A little closer there than the first hard point, but still a commanding performance from Purdue Gold. They're actually able to really extend their lead at the end there and win it by close to 100 points. VT2 having an impact. Everybody really throwing in their 2 cents there for the gold. When you give credit where it's due, strong showing from St. Clair. Big time in that search and destroy. Clutch plays out of them, but I think you're right. When they go back and watch the VODs, they get back to the drawing board tonight. It's going to be paying attention to those rotations. You just felt like Purdue Gold was just a little bit more ready every single time it came to rotating.
I wish I had like a mini map that I can draw on, like it was like the
shift,
halftime show
Alan,
here. Yeah,
exactly.
So I could just say like every single time that the Saints were fighting into it, they were just taking the fights a little bit too late to the hard points, and they would be taking fights around the 30-second marker, which is okay, but on hardpoint Garrison, you have to be looking at the rotations because the rotations are so key to it. And every single time that the Saints went for those late fights, Purdue, they were okay with getting wiped off of it. Honestly, I'm sure that they were kind of counting on getting wiped because especially from P2 to P3, if you get wiped on that point and St. Clair, through breaks, take the kills, then Purdue is going to be spawning on P3. They're going to be locking down the back of the map, and it's just so hard to break it at that point for the Saints. There's so many angles to check. It's so deep in that corner that Garrison Hardpoint is just so rotation centric, and that's where the SMGs are so strong. That's why it is so important to be watching them, because it's those SMGs that push the lanes, that push those spawns even farther. I mean, you look at point four at the end there. Purdue had it on lock, and you saw players like Tragic like pushing into top green, getting the kills, spawning Saints all the way back tank. Like, think about the trek that you have to do to go from back tank all the way to P4 floating tank. Like, that is so long. That's about 15 seconds in the hands of Purdue before you see a gun to actually contest it. And it's just not what you need at that point. So definitely, you go back to the VODs, you look at it, you got to work on those rotations if you want to fight against these teams in the top 25 of the CCL. Purdue, on the other hand, they're hot tonight. They keep it up, and they're staying true to that number 18 spot.
Learning moments for St. Clair as they fall to 7-3. Purdue goes to 9-1 and will be in a better position to get in that top 4 ahead of the playoffs in an auto qualifier. But that's going to do it for this first match. We'll give Seymour a chance to catch a break, grab some water, stay hydrated, and I'll be right back here with Mick on the desk as we get ready for match 2. It's going to be, as I pull up the sheet here, I apologize. After this one, JCSU Esports and VCU Esports will go toe-to-toe. So we'll take a short break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with match 2 in a little bit.